Have you ever noticed how, at certain times of the day, a soft buzzing suddenly fills your ears for no apparent reason? Maybe you're focused on a simple task or just relaxing at the end of the day, and suddenly that thin, almost imperceptible sound starts to ring. A lot of people ignore this occurrence, brushing it off as something ordinary or even a common physical symptom. What few realize is that, for many spiritual traditions, this little annoyance can be so much more than a temporary disturbance. It can be a language, a code coming from subtle planes, designed to grab your attention for deep messages trying to reach you. What if behind that sound, there was an essential message from the universe, something that could completely change the way you see life? Just think about the importance of certain signs that seem trivial, but when deciphered, turn into real maps for our inner journey. In many accounts, the buzzing in the ears is interpreted as a sign that something inside you is starting to expand, almost like a trumpet's call alerting you that it's time to pay attention. If you're wondering why this sound pops up and why it sometimes seems stronger, some believe that entities, guides, or protective spirits might be trying to create a communication channel. In other words, this little noise serves as a heads-up that there's something important to be noticed, an entry point to topics your conscious mind hasn't yet picked up on. It's no wonder so many people feel intrigued when they notice the buzzing coincides with specific thoughts or feelings. It's as if synchronicity is a reminder that we're connected to something bigger than our busy day-to-day lives usually shows. It's easy to underestimate what we don't understand. How many times have you gone to sleep without giving a second thought to the buzzing, treating it like just another noise in the environment and only remembered it when you woke up in the middle of the night, feeling restless? The thing is, this so-called little manifestation can have huge implications. Some spiritual perspectives suggest that whenever an unexpected buzzing occurs, it's worth taking a step back and looking around. What was I thinking before I heard that sound? What kind of feeling was occupying my mind in that moment? Could it be that something inside me was asking for a change of direction or a moment of calm to sort my thoughts? If you start paying attention to these questions, you might be surprised by the answers that come up. Some people mention that hearing this buzzing can be a call from your spiritual mentors. Imagine this: you're having a hectic day, full of important decisions to make, and suddenly you feel that silent call. It could be the universe nudging your shoulder and whispering, "Hey, I need to talk to you." Subtly, this sound interference could be an invitation for you to raise your gaze and consider aspects that aren't visible to the naked eye. Instead of going on autopilot, this interruption encourages reflection. Am I ignoring some intuition? Could it be a reminder to evaluate the choices I've made and see if they align with my soul's purpose? Whenever there's talk about soul purpose, many people feel a bit lost, unsure of which path to take or what truly matters amidst the demands of the material world. This is where the concept of buzzing in the ears becomes even more interesting. Various esoteric schools argue that certain people have a sensitivity level much higher than they realize. And that this level, when stimulated, whether through meditation, prayer, or self-knowledge practices, amplifies the ability to pick up information that normally goes unnoticed. It's precisely at this time that the buzzing manifests, as if signaling that your perception channels are tuning into a new frequency. You might have experienced stepping into a place where the energy feels so different that your mood shifts. It's like walking into a room where people are arguing. You feel the heavy atmosphere, even if no one has said a word. All of this is energy, frequency, vibration. So, if we consider that humans emit and receive vibrational waves according to their thoughts, emotions, and intentions, it makes sense to associate the buzzing with a shift in frequency. Some people report that, after a period of introspection and inner healing, the buzzing comes through more intensely. Almost like an indicator that something is being updated within your energy system, like a glowing sign notifying you that your vibration now operates on a different level. It's easier to understand this way. Every time you go through a significant inner transformation, whether letting go of a fear or overcoming a trauma, your energetic signature changes. And this change can cause symptoms in the physical body, as it reflects what happens in the subtle field. Then we get the well-known signs of vibrational change. The buzzing in the ears is one of the most cited, but there are also sensations of tingling, unexpected chills, palpitations, and even more vivid dreams. When you start viewing this phenomenon as an indicator of progress, instead of a problem with no solution, life begins to take on new colors, because you gain the perception that you are spiritually evolving. Many people don't even realize they could be in a process of releasing old beliefs or making a quantum leap in consciousness until their physical body gives these subtle nudges. How many times, throughout life, have you felt that something big is about to happen? That intuition that, at any moment, a new opportunity or insight will arise, but you can't quite explain why you think so? Many argue that the buzzing in the ear acts as a catalyst for this type of alert. It's like the universe is saying, "Get ready, something is imminent on your horizon." It could be a sign that important information is about to come in or that you're about to see something that was previously hidden. In this sense, if the buzzing occurs alongside feelings of positive anxiety or anticipation, consider the possibility that you're just a few steps away from a major personal discovery. Numerous accounts from those who engage in energy therapies or follow self-discovery paths reveal curious situations. A person decides to meditate more often, starts reflecting on past traumas, dedicates themselves to harmonizing their emotions, and suddenly begins to hear that buzzing regularly. Almost as if each meditation, each thought of well-being, attracts this sign. There are cases where someone awakens from a revealing dream, filled with symbols, and upon opening their eyes, they're greeted by the buzzing that seems to say, "Write it all down, don't let this message slip away." These instances show how communication between the spiritual world and the material world could be happening much more actively than we usually think. Another clue that the buzzing isn't just any noise lies in its ability to draw us to the present moment. Notice that, generally, this sound grabs our attention instantly. No matter what we're doing, it's hard to ignore it. And this state of alert is great because it allows, for a few moments, the mind to disconnect from past worries and future fears. If there's something that many spiritual philosophies recommend, it's to stay in the here and now because it's exactly in this state of presence that we can perceive subtle signals. The buzzing would serve to pull us momentarily away from distractions and stimulate full awareness. It's like saying, take a deep breath and notice what's happening right now. Throughout life, many people notice that this buzzing changes in intensity or pitch, varying from a soft hiss to something sharper, almost metallic. This can indicate not only the type of message but also how your body and mind are adjusting to the reality you live in. Some say that if the buzzing is softer, it might be related to spiritual affection, a gentle way of letting you know you're on the right path. On the other hand, a more strident buzz that can even be uncomfortable might show up when you're more closed off to the messages, almost like an alarm insisting on being noticed. Another aspect that's frequently mentioned is the development of intuitive abilities. Imagine you're studying some spiritual tool, like self-knowledge cards, runes, deep meditations, or energy practices, and suddenly you start experiencing more episodes of buzzing in your ears. This could be a strong indication that your sensitivity is increasing to pick up subtleties that you previously overlooked. From this perspective, the buzzing would be a kind of announcement that your internal radar is becoming sharper. People working with holistic therapies report that the more they practice, the more they notice these sounds, as if they are training a psychic muscle to listen to the voice of the invisible. It's likely that as you expand your perception, you also encounter emotional memories that you thought were resolved. This happens because the deeper you go into the self-knowledge process, the more internal layers are revealed. Some are light and easy to work with. Others bring ancestral pain, childhood traumas, or blockages you didn't even remember existed. This movement, known in some circles as purging karma or clearing karmic patterns, can trigger buzzing as a sign that something is being released. It may seem mystical, but think about how body and mind are interconnected. When you cry over something that has hurt you for a long time, you can even feel physical reactions, your body tightens, your breathing changes. All of this is part of an integrated process. Therefore, it's natural that the clearing of inner content manifests in small physical symptoms like chills, shivers, or that persistent buzzing in your ears. This karmic release also relates to when new blessings come into someone's life. It's like you're emptying an old cup to receive purer water. When we talk about clearing karmic records, many relate it to past lives or distant experiences. But in practice, it can also mean breaking old patterns of behavior and thought in this very life. Perhaps you grew up hearing that you're not good enough or that you don't deserve something. These beliefs can be etched in your subconscious, undermining your potential. And as you undergo a healing process, the buzzing appears almost like a verdict. Yes, you're clearing things that blocked you. Keep going. At this point, noticing the buzzing more often can be comforting, as it serves as spiritual support, indicating that this internal work isn't in vain. Another point that sparks a lot of curiosity is the possibility that the buzzing indicates some sort of telepathic communication. Maybe you've heard about cases where, right when someone thinks of another person, they get a call from them. Or that when you're about to meet someone, you feel a kind of intense sensation in your body or heart. There are theories that suggest the buzzing in the ear, in certain contexts, might indicate that a transmission of thought is happening. It's like two minds are in tune for a few seconds. Some even connect this with the idea of desire manifestation. When you're strongly focused on co-creating a reality, the energy you emit connects with the invisible field, and the buzzing would be further evidence that your desire is being shaped on subtle planes. Of course, we can't say every buzzing falls into this category. There are many possible physical causes, and any persistent discomfort should be carefully examined. However, when medicine rules out concrete problems, allowing space for this spiritual interpretation can be enriching. After all, how many times are we invited to observe the invisible around us, yet we don't realize it's present in much more everyday ways than we imagine? In some traditions, it's recommended to practice a little whenever the buzzing arises. Take a moment of silence, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Try to sense if any feelings, images, or even a word come to mind. Many are surprised to find that by staying silent for that brief moment, they receive a fleeting perception, like a response to a question, an image of tranquility, or even someone's name. In these cases, jotting down the experience in a notebook can be very useful, as many spiritual messages are subtle and easily lost in the rush of daily life. If this happens to you, it might be worth keeping a small journal, recording these occurrences along with the emotions or thoughts that were present at the time of the buzzing. Over time, you might notice a pattern or recurring message that becomes clearer when analyzed together. Many people hesitate to dive into these possibilities out of fear of being seen as out there or thinking they're just fantasizing. But the truth is that countless reports from around the world show that the interaction between the physical and spiritual realms reveals itself through little details that, when ignored, get lost along the way. The buzzing in the ears might be one of those details, a phenomenon that, because it seems so simple, often doesn't get the attention it deserves. However, when you start to observe it with respect and curiosity, you might discover that it brings a wealth of symbols and meanings that expand the way you perceive the universe. Whatever cause you attribute to this phenomenon, the fact is that being open to a new perspective is an essential step toward self-awareness. By considering that the buzzing might be a spiritual message, you begin to realize that life is not just what we see, touch, or hear in a conventional way. There is a huge field of possibilities, energies, and exchanges happening beyond our immediate perception. And if that buzzing really is a reminder that you are evolving or that something important is coming, why not allow yourself to believe in that idea? Believing is, after all, not just an act of blind faith, it's a way to expand your consciousness and open doors that were previously closed. Of course, everyone has their own pace of learning. For some, the buzzing may be a complete mystery that they prefer not to explore. For others, it can become a true guide, something that drives them to seek readings, experiences, and insights to better understand the spiritual side of existence. In the midst of that process, the subtle suggestion to keep exploring related content might be a way to grow even more in this awareness. After all, the more we inform ourselves and share experiences, the easier it becomes to understand this kind of signal and integrate it into our daily lives. For example, some shared stories show that discovering they weren't alone in this experience reassured many people and inspired them to continue seeking explanations. A great advantage of perceiving and accepting the buzzing as something spiritual is the opportunity to stay present and receive signs more easily. Have you noticed how many moments in your routine are spent on autopilot? Commuting, working, going back home, taking care of household tasks, and the day ends without us stopping to think about what we're really feeling or needing. If this slight noise serves to wake us up, even if it's just for a few seconds, then it already brings a valuable contribution. Sometimes, you might be so caught up in worries that you forget to hydrate, stretch, or breathe calmly. When the buzzing comes, it's like a little reminder saying, pause for a moment and check in on your breathing. It's those small breaks in the routine that can guide us to a more balanced state. For many, the real value of the buzzing in the ears lies in seeing it as an entryway to mystery. It's like a small crack opening up, showing that there's so much more happening beyond what we can see. And when we realize there's more, we start to respect our own sensitivity and the signs that life sends our way. This can make all the difference for those seeking to transform certain aspects of their existence. Just think of how many opportunities could be missed if you close your eyes to the alerts the universe places in your path. When you receive this type of message, you can choose to ignore it or reflect on it. And it's in that choice that you show your openness or resistance to inner evolution. The next step could naturally be wanting to develop your intuition and other psychic abilities further. In this sense, the buzzing becomes an ally because it indicates that your body and energy are ready for deeper stages. You feel that you can explore exercises like telepathy, visualization practices, chakra cleansing, or even integrative therapies that widen your perception. It's common to notice that as time goes by and you dedicate yourself, the buzzing starts happening along with little flashes of understanding, like a quiet voice rising within you. Even if it seems tough at first, gradually, everything becomes more natural and a part of your everyday life. In this rhythm, you might notice that you feel more at peace, more confident. As you clear old pains and release limiting beliefs, you realize that the universe communicates through every detail. The famous purification of karmic patterns becomes almost a logical consequence for those who allow themselves to observe what's within and act on it. And in the end, the buzzing ceases to be an annoying noise and becomes like a faithful messenger, appearing at each new phase to signal that something is transforming. It's even thrilling to think that, before, you didn't even pay attention to this phenomenon, and now, with an expanded awareness, you can see it as a clear reflection of your progress on the inner journey. After experiencing these changes and realizing how the buzzing can be a catalyst for discoveries, many people start to appreciate more and more that signs are everywhere. Those who were once afraid of being labeled as too mystical or out of touch with reality begin to see that, in fact, this connection with signs expands reality and aligns us more closely with our purpose. For those still in doubt, just think about how often you've intuited something important or sensed a situation before it happened. It's not that you have a super special gift, it's that each of us carries a deep connection with the whole that can manifest in different ways. When we accept this, life flows more smoothly and takes on greater meaning. So, whenever you feel this topic is relevant to you, consider continuing to investigate and share your thoughts. Who knows, in the coming days, you might start to notice that buzzing more often, and instead of getting scared, you'll feel curious to understand what message is revealing itself. If you feel like exchanging ideas about this and deepening your knowledge, know that there are spaces and people who approach these subjects with seriousness and openness. Simply following content that deals with this topic can further awaken your sensitivity, and little by little, you'll be more alert to the small messages life sends. In the end, this whole reflection serves as a reminder that often the extraordinary manifests itself in discreet, almost imperceptible ways. And we need to have attentive eyes and ears not to let it slip by. The buzzing in the ears could just be one of many signals, but even so, it might be exactly what you needed to start paying more attention to yourself and the world around you. It's surprising to realize how a simple buzz can carry such profound meaning, isn't it? Just imagine how many other clues could be scattered along the way, ready to be deciphered. Now, here's a detail that makes all the difference. Sometimes, chatting with others and observing what they experience can be a big step in confirming some intuitions. And if you want more content that enriches this search and broadens this spiritual view, it might be interesting to stay connected with those who share these studies. Many people report that, upon finding a community or space that offers content along these lines, they manage to evolve faster because they don't feel so alone in their discoveries. It's always worth remembering that what brings meaning to you could be the key to unlocking new dimensions of your existence. The buzzing, as we discussed, is a door that opens to the possibility of a life with more purpose and harmony with the invisible. When you honor these signs and learn to interpret what they convey, you gain greater clarity about your path. That feeling arises that some of the answers you've been seeking start to show up, often accompanied by relief, as you realize you're not facing everything alone. So, if this topic resonated with you or if you think it might help someone else who also feels that buzzing in their ears, it's worth paying attention to ways to keep exploring this and many other subjects related to spirituality. Sometimes, leaving a comment sharing your experience can not only help you organize your own ideas but also inspire others who are going through the same situation. And if this exchange is already having a positive impact on your life, it might be a good time to ensure you won't miss future similar content by keeping the habit of staying close whenever a new topic arises. It's something simple that doesn't require much effort but can offer a broader, lighter, and perhaps more confident worldview. Finally, let's emphasize that your individual journey is incredibly valuable, and every step you take toward greater understanding makes a difference. The buzzing might just be the beginning of a major turning point or just another reminder that there's something beautiful and mysterious in us that isn't always explained rationally. What's important is that if you've made it this far, it's likely because you felt there's something relevant in this subject, and that alone says a lot about your openness and sensitivity. So may this signal be an opportunity for reflection, self-discovery, and expansion. You might find that in the coming days, you look inward and outward in a new way, realizing that spirituality is present in everything, even in the little noises that resonate unexpectedly. If this approach is touching you in some way, it's always good to remember that there are simple ways to keep that connection strong and ensure that content like this continues to reach you. And if you'd like to share your experience or even chat about the topic, feel free to do so. Often, a brief tale in the comments can become a meeting point where each person adds a different piece to the puzzle of spirituality. Moreover, if you feel this material has given you some insight, leaving a comment, even a short one, can make a difference for both you and those who read it later. In this way, everyone benefits, and our collective perception expands. If at any moment you realize that hearing more information on these topics is important, feel encouraged to keep that bond alive. Discreetly, you can show the universe that you wish to continue receiving signs, whether through synchronicities or by showing interest in spaces that talk about these subjects. In the end, what matters is to honor what your heart feels and to see how life becomes rich when we understand that every detail, no matter how small, can have a profound meaning. And perhaps the buzzing in the ears is just the start of all this discovery that is yet to come.